Hey guys, Ryan Sloper here, Regional Manager for American Financial Network. Many of you guys have been watching a lot of our ads going up your social media feeds. Loan officers and branch managers wondering why we keep running all of these ads about our opportunity to join Team AFN, either as a loan officer or as a potential branch manager, opening your own branch. So many of you guys are probably asking yourself, like, I've never even heard of AFN, right? Or AFN's a small company. I mean, I guess we are relatively small, about $8 billion in loan volume last year. All these social media ads that we're running, are they just smoke and mirrors, right? Like, is there any substance behind those things? I get all the skepticism that's out there. Brian and I, before we came to AFN, we had the same thing. But today what I did was I brought these two gentlemen in, John Soka and Peter Carl, who recently joined our team. What was it about, Peter?
About 2 months ago.
2 months ago?
Right.
So I felt like, you know, instead of me continuing to talk about the opportunity, I figured we'd bring in somebody recently that joined Team AFN. You guys opened your own branch, right?
Yep, we did.
And where did you guys come from, John? What company and how long were you guys there?
I was at Carrington Mortgage for over 7 years. Peter, you were there.
I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
John was the top loan officer in the company. I was a vice president there.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in the business now for what? 50 years between the two of us?
Over that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. At Carrington, like, what was your predominant book of business, so people can kind of get a sense of what you were doing loan-wise product?
The good part of it was we were able to do some of the tougher government loans, but we were somewhat limited to in pricing, not being able to compete for the better quality borrowers. Mm-hmm. Not much conventional business at all.
What was like your ballpark loan volume that you were originating each month?
Between $2 to $4 million.
$2 to $4 million.
Personally,
Yeah.
for him.
Okay.
Right.
And then you were overseeing.
Correct. Our office on average probably did anywhere from $5 to $6 million a month.
Nice.
And that was just a local office here in Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm. And so I believe, John, you had originally spoke with Brian, what, about a year ago or so?
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly,
so,
right?
Yeah.
And, you know, as all things, like, timing is a big thing in this industry, right? Like, it's opportunity is great, but loan pipelines can get drawn out, and you worry about getting those things closed, and opportunities seem to come and go, and people never really make moves. So I'm curious, like, what drew you guys into the AFN opportunity? And I'll let you each answer that question.
Well, what drew me in was John, because John actually, left me before I came on board. But the two of us had talked for a while about the need for us to do more than just the tougher, lower score government deals that we were doing. We've perfected that process there, but there was a certain ceiling to that. So I know, for John's skill set, for what he does, this was a very good natural fit for him. Mm-hmm. And then it was a good migration for me to come over, since the two of us complement each other very well, to be able to partner up, to be able to build upon our experiences together, and to kind of leverage what AFN has to offer and turn it into a successful operation.
How about you, John?
Well, the idea of being able to grow beyond just production personally into the branch was the important part. Because was what Peter said, we kind of saw what our limitation was at Carrington, and there was a chance here to still be able to do what we had perfected, as he said, but then grow it to other kinds of businesses that we couldn't have where we were.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's like, you become capped, and one of the great things at AFN, they'll let you grow the business as big as you want it to be, right? So 3 of the biggest challenges that I hear all the time in the market from loan officers and branch managers alike is, I don't have enough leads. I don't have consistency of leads, right? Or I'm tired of chasing real estate agents down, right, and waiting for them to send contracts our way. And lack of support and lack of product. How would you guys think that AFN's platform stacks up in those 3, challenging areas?
Well, I think in terms of marketing, I think we do a fairly good job of social media. Mm-hmm. There's a good amount of content here at AFN from a social media standpoint, from print material, from email campaigns, things of that nature. There's different vehicles here that a loan officer or a branch or a region can take advantage of and put to good use to draw in customers. I know we do our own personal touches to things. I know you can talk more about that. Sure. Because that's your area of expertise.
I would say the one factor, I guess, is it's more what AFN doesn't do than what they do in regards to they kind of let you run it as you want. So, compliance, of course, is important, but we can go after the type of business we want to go after. We're not persuaded to try certain type of loan products, or there's no incentives to do one over the other. We can kind of grow the business as we see fit. And that was a big factor in coming here, was the freedom to do what we wanted that way.
Yeah, and I think the other thing for me, and this is when we got here, it truly is, you get a sense of it's an open source company where really nobody's hiding anything. John, we've had numerous conversations about like, these are the ads that we're running, right?
Right.
This is what we're working. These are the funnels that we're running, the ads, everything. Like we want everybody to actually succeed and move the company up, right? It's interesting because I think that your model is very similar, right? You're running social media ads, going direct to consumer. You also can run your social media ads to realtors and everybody else. But with them leaving you alone in a sense of letting you run your own business, I think that is a huge competitive advantage in the market, because a lot of the time, specifically in the financial industry, you have the top and it's the orders are being barked down, where you don't have that autonomy to go out there and kind of grow the business with the vision that you have in mind.
Well, I think that encourages the entrepreneurial spirit that we have formed through the years. I mean, we have experience. We know what we're doing.
Yep.
And I think for anybody out there, whether they're a loan officer or a branch manager, again, if you come here, then yes, you can kind of do what you do best. There's a good amount of structure here and support, and the products and the things that you have to be successful. If you apply yourself to that, it's a good fit.
Let's talk about transition, okay? So one of the big things in this business, and I hear it all the time from loan officers or branch managers that have huge teams and a lot of loans, they're always worried about like there's going to be a substantial fall off, or they're going to lose a lot of money in the transition, right?
Sure.
Like loans are going to fall by the wayside. They're going to make all their referral partners upset because they're making. I think, this is my opinion, AFN has the transition down to pretty much a science at this point. What was your transition like? Could you kind of speak to that?
Sure. I'm sure most companies have a similar platform where they allow you to send loans to your manager at first. But it was easier here, I think, than most places would be, because of how open it was in Brian letting me see the pricing and doing things real time. It wasn't like I had to fully lose control, which is what the issue I would always hate to have to wrestle with. Do I lose control of my loans in the process? Where the way it worked here, I was able to keep control of the files and had confidence they were being worked on properly, where I didn't hurt my relationships at all.
So you didn't have much downtime?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
no.
I think that's critical in trying to maintain your relationships with your referral partners, right?
Sure.
And being able to take care of the clients to make sure that closing dates aren't being missed. So let's go into for a second the media part and your actual social media ads.
Sure.
So I know a lot of people are thinking in this day and age like that they need to continue to hunt down real estate agents, right?
Right.
How has social media allowed you to kind of leverage and sit back and have business come to you? This is one of the things that Brian and I have done for 5+ years, and we talked about like this is the way we truly believe the market's moving, and I think AFN has fully supported that vision of ours. But where do you see this going for you and your branch?
I think if you're able to, if you're a person that kind of knows instinctively what the next loan program that's coming out is, or kind of the next needs are, then you're allowed to offer that to a much wider variety. Now I don't even really focus on individual realtors anymore. I focus much more on just getting, I guess, our social media out there enough. It fixes itself.
Yep.
I don't need to call realtors or track them down as much. I just focus on the outward big picture, and they come to us.
And the other thing is, especially everything going on right now with the economy, with the pandemic, and with the changes that have occurred within our industry, the social media especially, I think, allows us the ability to quickly make a change, get the information out to our referral partners, to consumers directly, so that way, we can just go ahead and get them the information that they need to be able to react to the changes that are going on in the market.
Yep.
And that's been we've all experienced that, how difficult it is to take a loan that we thought was good today, and then a week later, it's nowhere close to being good.
Right.
So, that's been very useful to us to kind of get that message out quickly, so everybody can react.
No, that's good. So running a branch for people that haven't ran a branch before, right? It seems like it's like this big monster, right? Like that you're going to have expenses and you're going to have all these things that you're unsure about. I think AFN does a great job of trying to give you the support from the corporate level to be able to let you run your business, to drive sales, right? While they really handle the back end. Maybe speak to kind of how nice it really is to have a real-time P&L, right? Have your loans, when they fund, they credit to your P&L the very next day. And I'm speaking more to the branch opportunity right now, not for loan officers. And then also to be able to physically pay your loan officers commissions on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I think, well, first off, paying people on a weekly basis is a huge plus. At a lot of companies, there's a lag time. A lot of companies operate very much month to month and have different tiers that apply month to month. You try to eliminate that here to be able to get people paid, real time, within a week of settlement, they'll get paid. As it relates to a P&L, I can tell you, I've been running P&Ls for close to 30 years now. And the past few years, I didn't have that control. I didn't have the ability, the autonomy, the real-time information, the ability to kind of run my business, our business. That's important to us. It allows us to do what we want to do, how we want to do it, when we want to do it. And the command center is very useful in being able to provide a P&L, to be able to look at a general ledger expense, to be able to identify something. Okay, where did this, charge come from? Oh, okay, yeah, I need to reconcile that. It's important to be able to run your business that way, and I think it's very successful for us that way.
Yeah, I don't think a branch is right for everybody, but if you're a competent loan officer and you know the business very well, then there's likely money you're missing that you're paying for someone to do things that aren't that hard to do yourself.
Right.
And it's not, there's not a lot of times here you can grow in your profit margin as a loan officer directly. There's only so much commission you can make. So once you've acquired a certain number of skills and you have confidence in your ability to, as a loan officer, the next step in progression is a branch manager, or you're kind of plateaued.
Yep.
And that's where you burn out.
Well, and a lot of our ads go out and we tell people, if you're consistently able to do at least $1.5 million, $2 million every month, right? You're going to reach a point where you're kind of crazy if you don't look at a branch opportunity, right? You're able to better serve the client if you're in a branch position, right? And I know a lot of this information doesn't like to be filtered out because I believe in full transparency. I believe the way that this industry moves forward is actually, educating loan officers that may not be aware of the behind the scenes stuff, right? And actually giving them a target to move towards. And if they're not doing $1.5 million, $2 million, that's okay. They can partner with a branch like you guys, right? That have the experience, and then you can groom them, right? Here, we tell everybody, we don't want you to stay stagnant. There has to be some sort of plan and target for you to work towards. But I think that's what makes this company special, is that we're willing to do that, right? We don't want you to stay necessarily as a loan officer for 30 years and never be able to open your own branch. So I do say $1.5 to $2 million consistently. If you can do that for a year, right, and you really get your legs underneath you, then the opportunity is there, like you said. So your income's not capped for life, and you have the room for growth, right?
Right.
So let's talk about from the branch level. If somebody was considering a branch opportunity, how important is pricing autonomy from the branch level and being able to actually have the ability to manage pricing up and down the rate sheet, to be able to have different compensation buckets where you would have your self-generated leads, your internal referral leads, and you would have your company-generated leads. Right. A lot of companies don't offer kind of that. I want to say it's not that expansive as far as compensation is concerned. How does that help, and how does that help you be more competitive in the market?
Well, I think it does allow you to capture business from different sources, and each source has a different cost to it. If it's self-generated, typically those deals have a lower cost. It's more that personal relationship that you've kindled over the years with an agent, with a builder, with an attorney, whomever it may be. But if then you're going to do something else where the company is going to incur an expense for that, then you're going to be a little bit leaner on the P&L. You're going to need to price that a little bit better. You're going to need that competitive edge, and that's what that really kind of gives you. It gives you that different flexibility there to be able to compete and to be able to capture the business regardless of the source.
So, what would you guys say for someone that has been in the position of grinding it out year after year, just knocking out loans, right? Sure. And I know you've been there, but I know, because I've been getting a lot of questions from social media. People look at what we're doing on the social media front, and I think that they really do believe that that this is just a marketing gimmick, right? That this really isn't the opportunity that it appears. So, if they're that person that is knocking out the $2 million, the first step is obviously having a conversation, right? But I just want to make this information accessible. What would you say to that person that's been doing that for 5-10 years?
I'd say there's a reason why there's a bank on every corner, every street. There's money in finance, and there's a lot more profit in the lending side of the business, or in the loan origination side, than just what you get paid as an LO. And if you have an opportunity to inquire about how you can be part of that, how you can capture more of that profit, I don't know why you wouldn't take the chance to do so. Somebody is going to get paid on your production. If you don't do it yourself, then there'll be some manager, some company will have money off of your own sales. There's no reason after $1 million or so a month per year, that you can't be doing that yourself. You're just losing your own money.
Yeah. And I find it interesting because, Brian and I, for the last 5 years, we basically said, look, social media has given us the platform to open up information really quickly, right? And my hope is that like we can continue to better our industry, loan officers and branch managers by really showing them like what's possible to better serve clients, right? Because now, like you said, you don't just have just the lower credit scores that you can do here. You have the ability to broker, and we're a direct lender. We sell to Ginnie and Fannie, all the agencies. So we have the flexibility there. But like whatever niche you have, you can really drive that in, but then you can create another division, right? And another division. I think that's where the growth can happen. Versus I feel like most lenders are, let's just say, they stick with what they know, right?
And well, I agree. I mean, where we came from, they had a certain business model that worked for them. That's fine. That works for them, and that's their thing. It may not be my thing. It may not be John's thing. So, if we have the ability to come in here, know what we do well, be able to do it, and then see the other opportunities that we can possibly leverage and take advantage of, why wouldn't we? And then it feeds right into what you say. Why wouldn't you make your own money?
Right.
It just ties it all together. It's truly being autonomous. Running your own business, being entrepreneurial, and getting paid for the successes that you have while taking care of your clients the entire way.
So this is the last question I'll ask both of you.
Sure.
So you guys are about 2 months in, right? 2 or 3 months. What are your goals for the rest of this year?
We have written goals about how much we're going to make, which kind of drives what you do. And so we have goals of personal production, of the branch production for other loan officers. We're going to grow the branch. We always kind of use the terms like vertically, more how much we produce, and then horizontally kind of building a team to, behind us. And we have goals for how many loan officers, how much production in how low volume we want, plus our own production. So every day is geared towards that goal and how we meet it.
So do you believe that by coming here, and you were doing between 2 and 4 million a month,
Sure.
How do you believe that it's going to give you a potential to double? I mean, what are you shooting for?
Right now, the goal is 5 million a month.
Nice.
For us together, but that took all my time before. So now the goal is to be able to do that while still having some time in there for loan officer training, and eventually that production shifts away from personal production to loan officers. The one downside of being a loan officer is you have to produce to make money each month. So if you're ever going to get a residual income in this business, it's not going to be from your own production. It's going to be from building a team and taking what you've learned to others. And that's kind of the goal to get to, is to make enough money on our own production while we build that team, and then to go back and use the skills we have as management and not have to be the person working nights and weekends all the time.
Build the roadmap, right? And then show others how to just do the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah. And to add to that, I mean, we talked about running a P&L. I mean, beyond just the volume production, we're also looking at how much revenue can come in as well. So we have those goals as well.
Right.
That kind of determines how much volume we need to focus upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, it's pretty complex as far as kind of the goals that we have. But we've done this before, and we're confident we'll be able to do it again.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time today. So, we're 2-3 months in. Maybe we'll revisit your year marker, and we can kind of figure out, how the year played out. But I greatly appreciate your time, and look forward to growing together.
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.